Hi, spots and cheap pops, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Silicon Steve Allen. I am with my brother, my main man. We got Vladi turned Purple Nurple champion, and he is here to defend his championship for a second time this weekend. Hopefully you guys checked out our video about Night of Champions WWE in Saudi Arabia. Right now we're talking AEW. We're talking Double or Nothing, the inaugural pay-per-view for AEW. It was 4 years ago, and here is the 5th installment of Double or Nothing. Lottie Dottie, you are beating my ass up by 3 matches coming into this. And now, how are you feeling about the prognosis of a full calendar year as Purple Nurple champion?
I think it's on the horizon, and it's like leading the lambs to slaughter at this point.
I would agree. It looks pretty bad. So, Vladi Dottie, without any further ado, let's go into AEW Dynamite. Nope. AEW Double or Nothing. One of their quarterly pay-per-views. It's going to be good. Big weekend for pro wrestling. What do we got, Vladi Dottie? Let's get into it.
Let's start off with this one because it's just silly. The AEW International Championship Blackjack Battle Royale with Orange Cassidy's in it and a slew of others. So, if you don't mind, I'll pick first. I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy with the win.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that... Not unfortunately, but... See, this is the thing. I don't know if Jay White is in it. I know Ricky Starks is in it, but is Bullet Club Gold in this Battle Royal? See, I don't even know who's in this Battle Royal.
Thank you, Tony Khan. Exactly. It's like we know Orange Cassidy's in it.
And Ricky Starks.
Yes. But he's a little bit of an afterthought because as soon as he announced it, he got his ass handed to him.
Well, at least it's by Bullet Club Gold.
Right, but, you know.
Bullet Club Gold. I'm a big Jay White mark, and I like Juice Robinson a real lot, so I'm happy that I'm hoping there's some promos to actually the reasoning of to why Bullet Club Gold is fucking with Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
So can we find out why Jay White is so passionate about beating up Ricky Starks?
Why are they so focused on him? I'm like, why? And it's funny when Ricky was speaking. In my head, I'm like T-minus 7 seconds until somebody hits him.
Me too.
There you go. Yeah, and then
100%.
it's just you see the interview in the back, and then it's going to be interrupted with some sort of fight.
I can't disagree with you. I saw that coming, but again, Jay White cuts phenomenal promos. Give people a feeling on who the hell Jay White is, and Juice Robinson for that matter. I mean, I know you're feuding with Ricky Starks, but you're not showcasing these 3 really great talents to the level that you could. It can't just be all beaten up. Let's just all beat up Ricky Starks. Let's just all beat up Ricky Starks. It's got to be more than that. And you really have wasted Ricky Starks in a lot of ways. But I am going to pick Orange Cassidy quite as well because again, I don't know who else is in this match except for Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks is going to probably get cost the match by Bullet Club Gold.
Right.
So.
That's my thinking as well. So, yeah, I figured let's get that one off the table. Another thing to get off the table, let's go to the TBS Championship with Jade Cargill against Taya Valkyrie. I'm going Jade Cargill here.
Well, I know you are excited about them running this match back.
Yeah. Because it's just the epitome of professional wrestling when anytime Jade Cargill's out there, especially. I
did not think the ending that finish was nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. The way you described it, I thought it was going to be like AEW dark.
It was garbage.
It wasn't great, but I've seen 10 times worse. I've seen worse. Ronda Rousey was worse when she dropped the title to Becky Lynch.
I disagree with that.
Oh, come on. She botched the finish.
It was just so stupid.
Well, either way, I am still thinking that Jade Cargill wins, but she has no momentum right now. They got to do something with Jade Cargill. I think they're trying to wait until Statlander comes back, but it's gotten real old with Jade Cargill. Something's got to change a little bit here.
Her whole presentation, it's like they're almost stuck in between like especially there's been times where they showcase her having a daughter, which would basically humanize her. Like, they just need to make her a heel. Don't push any sort of face like behavior with her. She just should be as arrogant as she could be. Come out there and just run roughshod over everybody. But
that's pretty much what she's doing too.
There's been times where they like showcase her daughter and, oh, I won this and don't even put that on camera, like, and honestly, she's still green. Her matches are less than, to say the least.
Well, she's Jade, not green. Jade's a form. I mean, green is many forms, and Jade's one of them. So she is green.
And it's just very ironic that her name is that. I mean, you're proving me right, if anything.
Well, no, she's not there yet. I mean, they got to keep her with better people. And the thing is I don't know. They got to do something though, and make her a little bit more interesting, because now it seems like they're just giving her this undefeated streak just because.
Oh, exactly. And then what is she? Oh, she's that bitch. Okay.
And she hasn't wrestled anybody good. Just like Goldberg, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think Goldberg beat Hugh Morris 57 times on his way to 80.
Yeah, the Regal match wasn't bad though.
Yeah. Well, Goldberg didn't like the Regal match. You didn't just let me come here and kick your ass because I'm big and I snarl.
Yeah, Regal had other plans.
Let me punch this window in with my bare hands. I'm smart.
He's extremely intelligent. All right, so let's hop over to this one. TNT Championship now. Wardlow versus Christian Cage, and for some reason, a ladder match. Why? I don't know.
It was a ladder match because they started beating him up with a ladder.
Have they had a match before this?
They were already challenged. They were already going to have a match because...
Let's just jump into the gimmick, right?
Luchasaurus... I'm not going to bitch about having a ladder match between Wardlow and Christian Cage. Was it forced? Maybe, because it was only happened 2 weeks ago. You would have liked to see a little bit of a better build, but the build's been great. Christian Cage has had great promos. They beat the living shit out of Wardlow last week or the week before. I'm happy about it. And of course, by the way, Christian can do ladder matches all the hell he wants because he's the one that elevated it to something that people are still talking about until today. So I disagree with this a little bit from you. How, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That's the thing. But how often do I guess the idea is he's Christian Cage. He can do ladder matches whenever he brings out a ladder.
So who are you picking?
I want to pick Christian, but I think Wardlow has it.
That's who I picked. It's Wardlow. And what's with Arn Anderson still with he keeps on doing the Four Horsemen sort of references.
Has he done more than one? I saw the one this past week.
Yeah, that was it. And then when he initially hooked up with Wardlow, it was almost like you and I were going back and forth, like, where are they going with this? It's almost like Arn has like a little bit of a plan.
I mean, Arn loves FTR.
He does. And those guys are boys with Wardlow as well. So...
Exactly. And so you got to wonder who the fourth would be. Is that CM Punk?
Cult of personality plays. He plays like almost a Flair role, if you will. And there you go.
It would be interesting. I mean, that's a big
CM Punk going like this. Imagine it.
Wow. It would be crazy. But Ric Flair would bitch about it on his podcast and everyone would be pissed.
Flair would be like, why am I not getting money for this? And be like, well, and this is something I'm going to mention here because I don't, in case we see something in the comments, just to clarify, Arn Anderson owns the trademark for the Four Horsemen, not WWE, not anybody else from back in the WCW, NWA days. Arn Anderson owns it.
I mean, he's the one that coined the phrase, so he should have, and he was able to jump the gun on everybody else. I'm shocked WWE, who buys everything possible and owns as much as they possibly can. Are you shocked they never got Four Horsemen copyright?
It's either stupidity or laziness. How do you let that one slip by?
I mean, they let contracts expire without knowing, dude. It's shocking how there's been so many things that we've seen that's just like the thing with Jeff Jarrett when they let his contract expire when he was still the IC champion. Just things like that. Something how that got by that off. Things like that got by the cracks often. But we're talking WWE. This is AEW, and this is Double or Nothing Picks with Vladi Dottie, the Purple Nipple Champion, and me, the Silicon One, Stephen Valli. Wow.
Let's go. Speaking of FTR, let's go to the AEW World Tag Team Championship match with FTR, the current champions, against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, with Mark Briscoe as a special guest referee, as we are taken into a black hole of Impact Wrestling on this pay-per-view. We're going to have a special guest of Karen Jarrett, by the way, because everybody was beckoning for that.
Who do you think has more go-away heat, her or Brandy Rhodes?
Probably Brandy. However...
Yeah, they were cheering for, what's that guy's name? The UFC. That was manager for like a year. Dan something.
Severn?
No, the Southern guy.
Dan Lambert?
Dan Lambert. Dan the Man Lambert.
Yeah.
He got cheered over her.
Yeah, true. But he was basically doing Cornette's shtick on the show, and, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, here we go. I'm going FTR. I'm assuming you're doing the same.
Absolutely. I think so. What do you think about this whole thing, though? I know you're a big, passionate FTR fan. Give me your vibe on how you feel like this feud has been built between, as you call them, Team Impact against FTR.
I just think, we were happy to see FTR went back to AEW, even though we were sort of, messed with and played, if you will, and worked by Dax on his podcast. And what I don't like is FTR has gotten over in a beautiful way with the crowd because of the matches they put on. I can't really remember the last time they have been in a tag team match, maybe since they won it. And then this has been sort of a comedy sketch week after week with Team Impact. And even, I know you liked the whole thing where they went down to Sandy Fork with Mark Briscoe. To me, you still have the Briscoe brother. How can I put this? They have sort of an aura that a larger audience is finally seeing. And the first time we see them at their home, a chicken farm of all things, is a total comedy thing with a giant person from India wearing overalls, Sanjay Dutt wearing overalls, who is probably, he and QT Marshall go back and forth with me as some of the most hated people on TV. Sanjay Dutt belongs nowhere near a camera. He brings nothing other than the pencil that he carries to the ring. It's like he's a big waste of time for television. Can't stand him. And then we just have expanded the Jarrett's thing with Karen Jarrett coming along, which to me just foreshadows the fact that there's going to be some sort of grief between Jay Lethal and Jarrett because of Mark Briscoe. And Jay Lethal is going to break off, become a babyface, and then you're going to have Jeff Jarrett with his wife and probably Sanjay and the giant Indian guy. So,
and then Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe can then go and wrestle for tag team championships as well.
Well, Mark said he won't go and wrestle for the tag team championship any longer.
Well, good for him. I like that.
Right. Which is
good for you, Mark Briscoe.
And then I read somewhere, and I hate to say, I should have, I'll throw it on the table. Evidently, the Black Machismo trademark has been filed recently. So we might see Jay Lethal as that character once again.
Etsy Macho Man.
He does a great impersonation, but
oh my god! Remember that Flair showdown? That's legendary.
Yes, but he was Flair against Flair. He wasn't Black Machismo, really.
It was Flair versus Flair. I mean, I actually first time I checked in Impact, they were doing some really funny stuff with the X Division, and which Jay Lethal was part of it. It was him. It was Christopher Daniels, but Christopher Daniels was Curry Man. Suicide. Well, Suicide wasn't part I was talking about, but it was Curryman, Shark Boy, and Black Machismo, and Kevin Nash was kind of talking with them, and there were a couple other guys there, and Kevin Nash was kind of like teaching them things. And it was really funny. It was hilarious. And that's actually when I got into TNT very briefly. I think it was somewhat just before Rob Van Dam came over and they were kind of having a rebranding of a little bit. But yeah, Jay Lethal got over by doing a lot of those impersonations. And that's kind of how he made a name for himself. But then he sees it as himself. And then Jay Lethal became, obviously a bona fide independent star.
Hey, and listen, he's from Elizabeth, which is nearby me. I mean, I work very close there. I like Jay Lethal overall. Like, I don't have a problem with it. The Jeff Jarrett thing, I totally have an issue with. Because again, Jeff Jarrett, the benefit of Jeff Jarrett is behind the scenes, not in front of the camera and not in the ring. But yeah, he's involved in championship matches, pay-per-view matches, and now we got to see his wife over again. So again, he went and twisted Tony Khan's wrist. He got his wife a paycheck, unnecessary again. And it's just, again, another symptom of the system. So, yeah, I'm just annoyed mostly with the Jarrett aspect because I've never liked Jeff Jarrett. And, here we are, 2023, and we're still watching him wrestle.
That's JEFF, JARRETT. Jeff.
Let's go to the AEW Women's World Championship match here. Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. You want me to go or you want to go?
I'm going to actually go first, and I'm going to go with Toni Storm.
That's who I picked as well. They're foreshadowing that injury. Excalibur said something. I'm like, you know what? And I actually thought, say, if Hayter loses, that might be somebody, if Statlander's still not close enough, that they might send after Jade Cargill, too.
She's got the size that can kind of go toe-to-toe with her as well.
Jamie Hayter versus Jade Cargill is like, it's not even close as far as talent.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. But, Jamie Hayter's also been doing it a lot longer, let's be honest. But I'm with you.
She paid her dues and has learned, and, she's not green or jade or whatever color you want to call her, and she's actually got in-ring talent and something beyond just a body.
Absolutely. I will 100% agree with you. And also, I think that faction, the Outcasts, they need a world championship. They need a centerpiece to kind of give them some clout. So I think that's the biggest reason. I'm surprised they went with Toni Storm instead of Saraya. But then again, Toni Storm's probably been there almost
as long as
yeah,
she's the best wrestler of the three, in my opinion.
Absolutely. But she has argued, many people would argue she has the best look of the three. And she's also, she's not the one that's completely, I think she has a couple tattoos, but she's not the one that's completely tatted up. She's not dark and mysterious looking. She's a blonde. She's a little bit different than the other two, where the other two are both brunettes or tatted up or hair, a little bit of hair in their color in their hair, whatever the case may be. She is just a little, again, though, I think the biggest thing is just she looks a little bit different than the other two, where the other two are kind of goth punk kind of vibe. So that's kind of where I'm at. So that was my thinking on that. And then you'll see the Outcasts get even more heat, and then you'll have to see maybe either Britt Baker or whoever else challenge go after Toni Storm.
Right. Okay, so let's go on to this one next. And I doubt this is going to be the main event because of the whole, unsanctioned part of it. Because usually they kind of hold off on those matches to, end it. They turn off the lights and blah, 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 right? So here we got Jericho versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match.
This is not the main event. Come on.
Yeah, right. Because they did it with Moxley and Kenny. Remember the one time, right?
But it's Moxley and Kenny. That's
right,
a little different
I'm saying I actually said I don't think this is going to be it. So this is why we're going here.
I was just trying to ease your concern, baby. Just easing the troubles, baby. Just easing the tension.
So I am going with Adam Cole, baby. Because really, why else? And by the way, here's Sabu for some reason.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense
at all.
Holy he's going to be there. He's going to be there on Sunday night.
Yeah. Because he lives in Vegas, according to Adam Cole, and he's always respected him. But again, and I love Sabu and RVD and ECW, but this is how many more years later?
It's funny. I looked at my wife when I watched it. I was like, I guess an old guy needed a payday. But clearly, Tony Khan is a mark for him. He probably loves Sabu. He was a big ECW fan back in their heyday, in Sabu's heyday, when he was reigning, as you said, with RVD going up against Taz, then forming their own triple threat, I think they were called, against the other triple threat, which was, you remember before, I know it was Skip. Yeah, Skip, Bam Bam.
Candido and Bam Bam and Shane Douglas.
That's right. Shane Douglas, Candido, and Bam Bam Bigelow. And that was some great matches. We get it. But all Sabu I saw was go out there and throw chairs at people recklessly. Okay, great. I don't know how he knocks down four other guys. I know Sammy wasn't out there, especially one supposed to be this MMA killer that loves his purple hat.
That's so entertaining still. Yeah, and to me, like, okay, you went and got Sabu, Tony Khan. Yeah, you obviously got deep enough pockets to pay Karen Jarrett. You couldn't go and convince RVD to go and do an appearance here instead?
With Sabu.
Yeah, even both of them. Bring them both out. I agree with that part.
RVD was just on WWE with the draft. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he's trying to stay in good graces of WWE. But I'm not sure. I don't know what RVD's deal is. I know he kind of beats to his own tune.
Yeah, you're probably right in that. It has to probably do with the Hall of Fame, and he probably has some sort of contract with them that he can't go and do stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So
like a Legends contract.
But there could have been anybody you could have done with that.
Sandman.
Taz could have came out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to get involved, but I digress. So we move on. What is next, Vladi Dottie?
We're going to go to this match, which is near and dear to your heart. None other than Anarchy in the Arena. We got your lover boy, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Page against Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudia Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, that little shit.
I want to pick the Elite just because they just came back, but BCC lost Anarchy in the Arena last year as well. So I don't know. But then again, in War Games, didn't the Undisputed Era lose 2 in a row, or did they win one of them?
I forget.
Well, so that's my thing. I don't know. I think BCC should probably get the win here, but they are heels now, so they could probably afford a loss. But also coming off a loss on Wednesday night, I'm going to say the Blackpool Combat Club gets the victory in some capacity. They're going to do something, maybe go over the limit. Maybe somebody joins them. Maybe there's something big that happens, but I think something big is going to happen in this match, and I think Blackpool Combat Club gets the victory.
I'm going Blackpool Combat Club as well. I just don't like the
Elite. We know that.
Yeah, I can't stand the Elite, but there's something brewing there. And do you think there's any chance that Hangman turns?
No,
not at all.
But I do think Don Callis is showing up and going to fuck somebody up.
So that's where you think, okay. Well, yeah, okay. Because I'm kind of like going off of what Hangman did in his promo. Hey, we're not exactly friends, but we're family. But the way he was saying it, I'm like, just it was a little bit peculiar to me. And how do you like his eye patch, by the way, which is a great accessory for All Elite Wrestling? It's always sort of in the mix if you're Pac or Julia Hart or Hangman, and there's another one that I'm missing. Oh, who is it? There's somebody else that I forget.
Moxley.
Yeah, Mox. You're right.
Moxley did it with Jericho.
Yes. So this is the 4th time we're going to the eye patch.
Oh, I got an eye patch. Get an eye patch, bro. Get a funky eye patch.
So, yeah. So we're both going with the Blackpool Combat Club. Were you a little bit surprised that Bryan Danielson mentioned Regal again during commentary?
I didn't hear it. Actually, I was cooking dinner when I was listening to it.
He made a Man in the Mask reference when he got out there, and then he mentioned Regal by name. And then I'm like, this is where it's stupid to me, because Regal cost Moxley the championship. Why are you still evoking the man's name?
Well, he obviously still had a connection with Regal, and he defended him, and that was what spurned that big rivalry with MJF, which ended in a brilliant Iron Man match. But I think what he's doing is he's just giving some honor to Steven Regal. I don't have a big problem with it. Steven Regal is part of what the Blackpool Combat Club is all about. So I don't have the problem with it you do, but whatever. I'm not that passionate about disagreeing with you either.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the last match of the night, man. AEW World Championship match. We got MJF, the champion, against Jungle Jerkoff, a.k.a. Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara, who, man, if they just let him be a babyface at this point, I think the fans would totally back him up, as long as Taya is not walking out there with him and they're making out obnoxiously.
I 100% agree with you. I think Sammy Guevara is now at the precipice of making that next jump, but he's going to need to leave Jericho. Yeah. And that might be where Jericho goes after he loses this match, because then Jericho's losing a lot of matches here. Yep. And then you can kind of see maybe he starts getting insecure that Sammy's kind of stealing some more spotlight. And then the JAS turns on Sammy, and then Sammy turns into the big baby face that we know he can be, and he was almost there before. Yep. He was young, happy, and in love. People hate that.
It's so true.
Especially if you're good looking.
You're good looking, and your wife's good looking, and then you just kind of make out every time you see him. Yeah, it gets a little annoying. So I'll choose first. I'm going MJF.
I don't think this is even a questionable match. MJF is certainly winning this. Neither of the three are ready to be the world champion. I'm glad they're getting this opportunity to all main event. It's a proud moment for the Four Pillars to achieve this. Also, though, you got to wonder how this pay-per-view will perform. I'm going to go with MJF as well. I think it's obvious, but you got to wonder how this pay-per-view will perform right now, because it wasn't booked that strongly going into it. I'm excited for it. I'm certainly going to get it, but I really hope it does some really good numbers, because a lot with everything happening right now, we talked about it. Double or Nothing really has gotten lost in the shuffle for Vladi Daddy. This is Silicon Steve Valley for High Spots at Cheap Pops. Here endeth the lesson.